we go!
It's time for TSS Fantasy.
It is Commissioner Cooper.
Not only hold on. That's a big balls move. Do you want your title?
Happy Sunday. Happy early morning trash football game.
Yes! We're back, baby! Let's go!
Feud with Aaron Rodgers. I almost got banned off TikTok for the things I did.
Repaired MCL sprain on his knee. He has had some nagging hamstring issues over the years.
D. Lots of fun words start with D. Like bye weeks.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
Yeah! Another Friday night? Get the hell out of here. What's going on here?
Let's go.
Must be special with Fred in the building tonight. Let's get the introduction started. We got a new member of the TSS family, and not to be confused with Archie or Eli, it's Ryan Manning. Welcome into our studio, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, Uncle Eli and Uncle Peyton, man, let me come on the show today. I appreciate it. And can't wait to go out to debate with Freddie here on the games today.
Nice. All right.
Even though he's a Yankees fan.
Yeah, even though he's a Yankees fan.
Right.
Skits, John Cologne said. I love it. All right. Let's get on with our boy, Fred the Jester Reyes. Welcome into the studio, sir.
All right, Friday night. Got a nice, good game to talk about yesterday. Future games to give some fantasy options. Let's go. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that game last night. It's funny because no matter, you listen to all these other podcasts, and, it's funny because you do all this analyzing and all this stuff goes on. And then stuff like last night happens. And it's like, it goes to show, this is why we have this show, because it's to prove that no one knows what the hell they're talking about, quite frankly. All right, let's get things started and pay the bills, of course. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid, give us a like, throw your comments in there. Subscribe to the channel. It's very easy to do. Little things stopping you from doing it. Big things popping for us when you do. So we appreciate that. Also, don't forget, if you're looking for some championship bling for your fantasy champion this year, look no further than Pro-Am Belts. And if you're going to play some daily fantasy this weekend, use the Fast Draft app and use our promo code TSS. We'll double your deposit up to $50. That's $100 to throw down. And of course, if you watch us on Sunday, we're going to throw you down some ultimate DFS lineups as well. So make sure you tune in and get paid with us. All right, so we got a lot of injuries this year, man. I mean, people are just dropping like flies. It's absolutely insane. So we got our boy, our doc in the house, Brian Scott from the Injured Podcast. He's going to give us some bedside manner and walk us through it. Let's bring him in.
It's time to get your latest NFL injury updates with Brian from the Injured List Podcast. The doctor is in.
The doctor, thank goodness, is in. Welcome in, Brian. I guess I could just say, not that I want to ever talk about baseball, but congrats to your Yankees, whatever. Welcome in, my friend.
Let's get it on the record. I am not a Yankee fan, even though I'm from New York. I'm a Met fan. Unfortunately, my season went to shit. Pardon the language. But we'll leave it at that. And by the way, I beg to differ. I know what I'm talking about. If they listened to TSS, they would have known all those guys weren't going to play last night and that Mac Jones was going to be the starter. I mean, come on. Pay attention, people.
I love it. Absolutely. Oh, I didn't mean all of us. I just meant everyone in general. All the fantasy experts. Tell me one that said start Kendrick Bourne last night. I give you 0 of them. By the way, Josh Sullivan must have a friend here that says, who's the twink in the red uni on the right? I love it.
Love the banter.
I love it.
Love the banter.
And,
Listen,
Dynasty Bruce, a.k.a. Justin. This is a Met fan, LOL. Yeah. I'm so sorry, Brian.
So am I. Not as sorry as I am. But listen, let's get to it because we've got a lot to talk about, especially at the quarterback position. Lamar Jackson just tweaked his hammy. They're saying 2 to 3 weeks. I think that's actually going to be the case because, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, I think they have a bye like week 7 or something. So it makes sense to hold him out 2 weeks. And then you get an additional week with the bye. So I don't think they're going to, put him through this and try to play any sooner than that. 2 weeks is about a good time frame. And then with the bye, that's 3 weeks. That's a legitimate amount of time. Hopefully he's able to get through this and come back 100%. So I think that that's realistic. He's not playing this weekend for sure. Jaden Daniels, though, he's back. He had a full practice in this week. He's trending toward playing. They're saying he's been cleared medically finally, so we'll see him suit back up. Word has it he's going to be wearing a brace. His mobility probably will be a little hampered, so I wouldn't look for him to do much scrambling or running. But he will be in the starting lineup. Baker Mayfield was listed with a biceps and a knee issue. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. He returned to practice today after missing a session or two earlier this week. He's going to probably carry a questionable tag, but I think he'll be in there full go. And then, we talked about Brock Purdy all last week, and yet they decided to put him out there, and then lo and behold, he aggravated that toe. I think we're going to see him out for several weeks now. The problem with the 49ers is their bye is until week 14. So as long as Mac Jones stays healthy, I think he'll be in there for several weeks going forward. He's putting up good numbers and helping them win. So we should see him continue. At the running back position, Bucky Irving, he was ruled out. He's missed time all week. He was reportedly wearing a boot and on crutches. Apparently got a second opinion. Sounds like it's a foot sprain. We don't know exact details, but this could be a several-week absence. Trey Benson, he's been placed on IR. He'll be out 4 games minimum. Some type of knee injury. They weren't very specific on what that was, but it happened pretty quickly, so it must be something significant. I don't see or hear any reports about him having to have surgery, though, so it sounds like whatever he's dealing with, he will be rehabbing it. Same thing for Braylon Allen. I thought he had an MCL injury. If you look at the replay of him getting hurt, and he sought a second opinion as well. I think that surgery might have been something on the table, and he decided to opt for the non-surgical route. He was placed on IR, which means 4 weeks, but the Jets today were saying that it could be closer to 8 to 10 weeks, maybe even longer. So it sounds to me like he's got a pretty significant injury. I think it was confirmed an MCL injury, which tells me that they might have been talking about doing surgery, and he might have said, no, I'm going to go the rehab route, and that's why the lengthy absence, but he's going to be down for a while. And then Chuba Hubbard, we heard today that he's out for Sunday. He didn't practice today, dealing with a calf issue. They're trying to rest him because he got aggravated this past weekend when he tried to play through it. Tyjae Spears is making a comeback. He was limited in practice. We might not see him this weekend, but he could ramp up and get in the lineup next weekend. He's officially entered the 21-day window coming off IR after he was dealing with, I think, a high ankle sprain in preseason. And then the Giants have still listed Tyrone Tracy as doubtful. I said it would probably be a few weeks before we see him back following that shoulder injury last week or 2 weeks ago. And they're listing him as doubtful, which doesn't carry a strong possibility of him playing. I think it's like 25%. So he's likely not going to get in there. We've all seen the Malik Neighbors injury. He'll go down for the season. Hopefully he'll be ready to go next season. You're looking at a 9 to 12 month window where he'll be cleared following reconstructive surgery. I don't even know if he's had surgery yet, which tells me that he might be dealing with some swelling and they might be doing some rehab prior to doing the procedure. Once I hear he's had surgery, then I'll know for sure the timeline. But this will delay it slightly, but it shouldn't cause an overall disruption in the overall timeline. So 9 to 12 months there. Tyreek Hill, we all saw that scary injury. A lot to talk about with this injury. I'm going to keep it quick. First of all, traumatic knee dislocation, one of the more serious injuries you can have on a football field. Limb threatening if there was any injury to the vascular structures. That's why they kept him in the hospital overnight. That wasn't the case, though. Thank God he avoided that trauma. Apparently, according to his agent, he had surgery and it's one and done. I don't buy that. This is not how we typically treat this type of injury. It's usually a staged ligament reconstructive surgery where we first reconstruct certain ligaments, then come back later and redo some more. So I'm not buying it that it's a one and done. There was also video footage that he posted online of him walking in crutches and a knee immobilizer, and he had a drop foot on that side, which tells me that he had a nerve injury from the knee dislocation. Hopefully that's transient, because if it's not, he'll never play football again with a foot like that. So that's a concern. We'll have to keep an eye on that. It's too early to tell. He's got a long recovery ahead of him. He might not even be ready next year, but we'll have to see.
It's really unfair. It's my team.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. Sorry.
Yeah, that it is unfair, but so goes it. Terry, CD Lamb, he got some practice sessions in, but it looked like he was just doing a little limited stuff on the side. He'll be out for at least a couple weeks still, I think, but he looked pretty good doing what little stuff he was doing. Terry McLaurin out with a quad injury. It's official now in the Commanders' injury report. He'll be out this week. We'll see what happens with him next week. Debo, apparently he practiced on Friday after being listed with some type of heel issue. Sounds like he's going to be good to go on Sunday. We'll probably see this happen to him several times more throughout the season. What else? Where are we at? Oh, Cedric Tillman went to IR with a hamstring injury and hamstring injury, and apparently this happened like immediately, which is not a good sign. That means it's probably a very significant hammy, which means he's going to be out probably at least several weeks, maybe even 4 to 6. So, I mean, minimum 4 games, but possibly even longer as far as weeks go, because to put him on that quickly on IR with a hamstring issue tells me it was pretty significant. Calvin Ridley is questionable heading into Sunday's game with an elbow and a knee issue. Not sure about specifics there. It sounds like he's going to be ready to go, though. He missed practice Wednesday and Thursday, but got some limited time in on Friday. Michael Pittman dealing with the hamstring issue as well. Status up in the air. He'll probably get a questionable tag heading into the weekend. I expect him to play. It didn't sound serious, but they got their other wide receiver. Alec Pierce is coming back from concussion and should clear protocol, so he'll be returning. That might mean Pittman might get some rest time. We'll have to see. And then Brock Bowers apparently popped up today as a did not practice and is questionable heading in the weekend. Sounds like he's not going to be playing. And that's the list I got for now. If thank God the 49ers played last night, or my list would have been twice as long, because they've got half their team on there as well. But I don't have to go over those guys. So, but that's it, man.
Oh man, I mean, like I said, it's just keeping you busy, man. Absolutely. And maybe next week we'll be adding on to it the way this thing is going.
That was a whole lot.
Ton, you know what ton, if you will. All right, well, listen, everyone, go follow Brian at the Injured List Podcast anywhere on social media, and of course, right here on That Sports Podcast Network. Get all the latest and greatest updates as well. He's gonna, like he said, he knows what he's talking about, so people got to listen. I mean, what the hell's going on? All right, Brian. Well, we'll see you, of course, Sunday morning with a update as well. Good night to you, my friend, and we'll send you out with our friends with NeuroGuard Plus.
Dr. Michael Hutchison has harnessed the latest in neuromuscular dentistry and impact technology to develop a mouthguard that does more than protect. It enhances. NeuroGuard Plus isn't just a mouthguard. By focusing on the jaw's physiological position, it provides an added layer of neuroprotection, significantly reducing the risk of sports-related neurological injuries. All athletes should be using a custom mouthguard designed to their bite position. NeuroGuard Plus was created as a means to maintain your physiological jaw position regardless of your bite. The appliance is designed to optimize your upper-lower jaw relationship to improve your strength, your balance, your oxygen intake, and drastically lower your chance of a concussion. Independent studies have shown that the NeuroGuard Plus will provide you with improvement to both upper and lower body strength. The same improvements were not present with a common mouthguard. Over 6,500 athletes have used the NeuroGuard Plus. Dr. Hutchison is happy to say that the amount of diagnosed concussions is 0.2%. The NeuroGuard Plus offers athletes, coaches, and parents an advantage to keep their players safe on the field. If you or your child actively participates in athletics, they need to be protected from the dangers of repetitive head trauma. Get your NeuroGuard Plus mouthguard today. Click on the link and use code ILPSports for 10% discount on your purchase.
You know what's cool while we got Ryan on? I mean, this guy's got fans already. We got guys asking, where did he go?
Where'd he go?
Well, he's back with us. That's okay. He's doing the rookie stuff. You know, stuff pops in and out. We get it, man. We've all done that 1,000 times. It's all good, my friend. All right. So we had a game last night, and a game, like I said at the top, I mean, you know, all these experts and all this, you know, the Rams are going to destroy the Niners and, you know, blah, 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 blah. Y'all know nothing.
They're at home. They're this.
the broke down Mac Jones last night. All right, let's talk about it. Let's get to the news.
Breaking news. The boys from TSS Fantasy still don't know what the hell they are talking about.
Well, at least we do now since this already happened. All right, let's talk about it. 26-23, Niners over the Rams. It was a great game. I literally had my mouth open as it started because I'm like, wow, look at these Niners right now. We'll talk about their stat lines. Mac Jones, 342 with 2 TDs. It was hobbling down the damn field. I mean, unbelievable performance by Mac Jones. If you don't have respect for him before, you definitely better respect him now. That's pretty much what he said last night. Christian McCaffrey, 22 carries, but only 57 yards. It's been an issue for McCaffrey, not breaking any long runs, but he's getting the ball a ton, so who cares? He also put in 8 receptions for 82 yards.
There you go.
Got that tutty in there. Kendrick Bourne. I mean, this is what I mean. I mean, nobody, and I mean nobody said, hey, I like Kendrick Bourne tonight. Not one person. Don't want to hear you claimed it. 10 receptions, 142 yards. Ooh, what a good game. And I'm going to kill Justin because earlier in the year, I asked him about Jake Tongues. I was like, yo, man, what do you think about this guy? Because I had Kittle go down. And I saw him make that catch in that game. He's like, nah. He's not even our catching tight end. 7 receptions last night, 41 yards and a TD. Great game by Mr. Tonges as well. And then Matthew Stafford. This boy is on fire. 389, 3 TDs last night. I mean, he has just been on fire. Kyron Williams, that was a tough night for him last night. Good for fantasy, not so good for the regular football. He had 14 carries for 65 yards, but 8 receptions, 66 yards, and 2 tutties on the board. Puka doing his thing, 10 receptions, 85 yards, and Devonta putting in as well, 5 receptions, 88 yards. Eventually we're going to have a conversation about Tutu Atwell, who's just putting in. He's almost like that Rashid Shaheed of the Rams, just putting in plays on occasion, and just really doing good things. All right, Fred, what did you think of last night's game?
I thought it was a fantasy bonanza. Nobody expected it from the 49ers. We expected it from the Rams. I mean, like you said, Kyron Williams on paper looked great. 14 rushes, 65 yards. Of course, he had the 66 yards with 8 receptions, 2 touchdowns. But you know what? He fumbled on the one. Ooh. And that lost the Rams the game. So listen, I thought it was a good game. I caught the fourth quarter and overtime. Mac Jones, props to you because nobody's seen that coming either. Like I said, Fantasy Bonanza, great game. You started any one of them.
Ryan, what'd you take away from last night?
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, I wish Mac Jones did this for New England before he ventured off. But he played great last night. Was extremely poised, especially with the depleted wide receiver core with everybody out for the Niners. I played against Matthew Stafford in my big league last night, so I gave it a little peek, and he had like negative something points with that fumble, and then he ends up having 20 something points. So that's how quickly that can happen when he has Devontae Adams and everybody else that he has over there, man. Especially Puka. Puka's just unreal right now. So super fun game to watch for fantasy purposes for sure.
100%. And I got to give some respect to the guy I'm playing in, Scott Fishbowl, because I talked a lot of trash about nobody calling Kendrick Bourne. Wouldn't you know, I go, how does this guy have 40 fucking points? And I go look, and I'm like, oh my God, he started Kendrick Bourne in his fucking lineup. I couldn't believe it. Good props off. I forgot the guys.
We gotta give props to their coach, man. Everybody talks about that 49ers coach. Man, this guy works with everything, man. He works with everything. And then my old Jets coach Sal over there with the defense hold them to 23 points. Couldn't do it for the Jets, right?
I got to get to a couple of these comments real quick, but one of them in particular is good old Justin, of course, who's allegedly working, but sure the hell in our comments. Kyron's an average RB in an average system and Rams hater. Bourne was the original JJ. Glad to see him back. Let me give Justin his props real quick before we get to the other ones. He was the only one out of this crew, and I even gave him the homer pick.
Oh, man.
The only one who went with those Niners last night. So props to Justin.
Wow.
Tune in Sunday because he's got quite a few ones out there for sure.
I I gotta freaking come in twice this week then.
Cap for life. What is up? No, good evening, my beautiful people. Like, that's what we usually see in there. He wants to know Sean Tucker or BTJ to you, Fred. What do you think?
Don't even ask me, bro. I don't know. BTJ, I guess. What are we asking? What kind of league is this? What, like, Jason, you answer that.
Right now, man, so this is my case for BTJ this week. You would imagine that the Chiefs are going to put points on the board. You can imagine that the Jaguars are going to have to throw the football to keep in the game. So that would be my case for BTJ tonight. All right, Ryan, you got to go back and come back in. You're out already.
You're out of there.
Now he wants to know Fannin or Likely. And now this is a funny one because I've actually had both of these guys on my roster, and I dropped Fannin because
I've seen that.
The offense has just been putrid, quite frankly. But with Dylan Gabriel, that does lead to some possibility of Fannin stepping up a little bit in this offense. Although you would expect Likely to play a little bit of a bigger role, but with Cooper Rush at the helm, tough.
And we feel Texans still have a decent defense.
They do. But the Vikings are no slouches neither. So this is a tough call right here, Fred. If there's because I'm even thinking of dropping Likely for someone else, because if there's some other options, I would explore that. Right now, that's a tough one, bro. I do not envy you, but like I said, I'm in your same position right now. But
I think I would go with Fannin this week just because of Dylan Gabriel, rookie quarterback, looks for the big target in the middle. It is Minnesota. They're playing away. I just think I would go with Fannin and try to give him a run. I don't really trust Cooper Rush and Baltimore. They're going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Fannin might be that guy. Like I said, Fannon's still available on the waiver wire, so I might end up picking his ass back up and throwing him in there. So we'll see. Cat for Life says 2 words: John Lynch. And by the way, Dynasty Brews, our friend Justin says Sean Tucker. He says fuck BTJ. Dude is on the shit list.
Hold on, this guy got a lot of comments for being at work.
I know. He must. I don't know what the hell he's doing. Know what the hell he's up to. What's up? Ryan's back. There we go. And he says carry underwear on the main stage, so no is getting food from me. Okay, I like it. He says Fanny, he thinks Gabriel is gonna be slaying it, so we shall see. All right, well, that was our talk about last night. Let's get on to this week's games and get ready, because Fred's about to get his dancing shoes on. It's time for the Friday Night Breakdown.
It's time to get your lineup set with TSS Fantasy's Friday Night Breakdown.
Breakdown!
Bring it on down! Breakdown!
Bring it on down! Bring it on down! Oh, that's the old style. Bring it on down! In green, baby. Bring it.
The funniest part of that clip is Greg going, "Oh God."
He'd be like, "This guy again."
Thank you, Cat for Life. We appreciate you coming in every week. Appreciate your comments, my friend. All right, let's get a spot of tea and let's go over to London to start our morning off on Sunday. Minnesota at London, playing Cleveland. Minnesota, number 3 against QBs, 19th against running backs. They are numero uno against receivers and 11th against tight ends. Browns, 11th against QBs, 2nd against running backs, 16th against receivers, and they're 8th against tight ends. There's really no home and away team here, but Fred, what do you think of the Minnesota Vikings? Who you want to start, who you want to sit, all that good jazz?
Oh, man. You got to start the usual suspects. Jordan Mason, you got to start. Got to start Jefferson, even though he didn't have a great game last week. And it's not his fault. You just got to – we got what's his name? Carson Wentz starting. I mean, you got to start him because of where you drafted him. I'm not too high on him. I'm going with Jordan Mason. He has to run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Mason, Justin Jefferson, but I'm not in love with either one of them. I feel you. And I don't know what happened to Hawkinson this year, but I don't think he's still quite right.
What happened to him?
I don't even know. Doesn't even feel like he's playing right now. Ryan, who you like and don't like on the Browns?
That's my first tough one here. I mean, I guess we got Dylan Gabriel obviously starting here, rookie quarterback here. So against the number one pass defense against the receivers. So I am going to go with Junkins. I think Junkins I think he's the guy there, no question about it. I think they're going to, with the rookie quarterback, they're going to try to run the ball a ton, try to open up a little play action with them. I do think Jerry Jeudy, being obviously he's had a slow start to the year, but being a rookie quarterback, you want to get your number one wide receiver the ball. So I think you're going to see a little bit of a bounce back for Jeudy, seeing 5 or 6 catches for PPR. And I'm still going to fade David Njoku. I think you fade him this weekend hard. But yeah, I think Junkins is a must start. And if you have Jeudy, I think he could be a potential flex for you in the PPR.
Yeah, Isaiah Bond actually might be a good play with Cedric Tillman being out and down and out, I guess, if you will. And he's available on a lot of waiver wires right now. So if you're in a pinch, that could be somebody you could snag right now. But yeah, I agree with you. And it's not just us fading Njoku, it's the Browns who are fading Njoku, quite frankly. So
yeah, exactly.
All right, let's get to the next one. While we do, Ryan, come back out and come back in. I don't know if you got some internet issues or what, but we got you black again. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh God, Cowboys at those disgusting Jets. Cowboys against
TSS Jets.
I just want to know, how was that ride back from Miami last week? That's just all I want to know.
This is the first time in a very long time that I was so pissed off. I was so mad that I went out there to watch 14 penalties and 3 freaking turnovers. I was almost done, brother. I was almost done.
Oh, man, I wish I was in the car for that. John Colon, I love it, bro. He's calling out Manning. He says Manning is biased. He has Junkins on his team.
I do.
I do too. So when you said it, I was agreeing with you. Like, yeah.
Let's go. Come on now.
It's just wishful thinking. We get it. All right, Cowboys against QBs. They are dead last. Running backs are 27th. They are also dead last against receivers. 13th against tight ends. Jets are 23rd, against fantasy QBs, 14th against running backs, 15th against receivers, and 19th on tight ends. All right, let's go to our boy Ryan. Now, you know what? I'm not giving Fred the Jets because we're just gonna hear all kind of like fake stuff. Ryan, give me for the Jets side. Give me guys you like and don't like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you like Justin Fields being a dual quarterback there. You know, I think he's going to be able to throw it against a 32nd ranked defense for the Cowboys. So I think you're going to get both with him. I think he's having a big day. I think he's averaging something like 20 or 21 points a game. I think he's going to go north of that. I think Garrett Wilson, if you have him, he's an absolute must start. I think he goes over the century mark with the touchdown. And I like Breece Hall to bounce back. He's been a little bit slow this year. I think if you're going to bounce back, you bounce back against the Cowboys. So I think he's going to have a big day as well. And my sleeper for the day is Mason Taylor. Yeah, so I think Jason Taylor's son there at LSU, the star, the rookie. I think he's going to go ahead and get 4 or 5 catches, and he's only going every single game. He seems to be getting more and more in sync with the offense. So I think he could have a breakout game as well against the Cowboys.
I like it. You know, listen, if you watch us in the summer, somebody said a dark horse was Mason Taylor. Just to let y'all know. Could be the number 2 receiver on this squad. Who the hell else is there to throw to? So quite frankly, I like what Mason Taylor's bringing to the team. All right, let's go to Fred. What do you think of them Cowboys? And Justin's in here talking about, like, wait a minute. Now I got to check your picks, Justin, because he says, wow, I can't even find the comments now. The Jets are due for a surprise win this week, but you didn't pick them, Justin. So what are you talking about? All right, Fred, what you think?
You got to go with the usual culprits. Dak Prescott's been throwing the ball really well this season. Every chance you get, you got to start them. They're either always behind or they're going to throw the ball. If you get that, hopefully you get a big fantasy game like you did with the Green Bay Packers. Williams, they're actually running the ball, 20 rushes last week. Got to start them. So maybe they went back to what works. And then with CeeDee Lamb being out, got to start George Pickens, man. He had a monster game last week. 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 receptions. Must start George Pickens.
Gonna see a lot of sauce on George Pickens this week too. So
hopefully.
So may want to temper your expectations a little bit on Pickens this week, but he's still a solid play no matter what. As Fred said, they're always down. They're always looking to throw the football. So he's definitely a good play nonetheless. All right, let's get on to the exciting game of the day. The Giants at the Saints. Now, against QBs, the Giants are 21st. They're 28th against running backs, 31st against tight ends, 15th against running backs. Saints, 28th against QBs, 24th against running backs, 19th against receivers, and 17th against tight ends. Fred, who you like for the New York Giants?
Well, I mean, listen, man, there's not much, but I do like Scatterbo. He's starting again over Tyrone Tracy. They ran him. They actually did something smart. Good for you, Giants. You started a rookie running back. You run the ball 25 times. Good idea. He had 79 yards, so that's not bad numbers for a first-time player. I don't pick any receivers. Don't start any receivers, and don't even take Jackson Dart. So Scatterbo would be the only one I start.
Okay. Well, what do you think, Ryan, on the Saints side?
I mean, normally I'd probably fade everybody on the Saints team, but we're playing the Giants, so I think Kamara, obviously they're ranked 28th against the run. I think they got to get him going. Whether they keep him or trade him, he needs to have a good game nonetheless. Olave, I think he's up in the top 5 in target. So I think against this defense, I think Olave can go ahead and get his normal 10 targets a game, probably catch 5 or 6 of them. So if you have him in a PPR, maybe as a flex pick there. And I got Rashid Shaheed to go ahead and score a touchdown in this game. I think he's kind of my dark horse there to score a touchdown against that secondary from the Giants. And then Juwan Johnson, I think he's ranked 10th right now against Spencer Rattler as a dump off tight end for him. So again, PPR, and you need somebody on a bye or somebody injured for a tight end, maybe go ahead and grab him if he's available.
Couple of notes to this game. A certain holy member of our team really likes Spencer Rattler this week. So a little tease for Sunday. So make sure you tune in for that. Also, I forgot to mention it earlier in the show. Don't forget the teams on the buys: Falcons, Bears, Packers, Steelers. I meant to say that right up front, and I'm looking at it on my sheet, and I still ignored it. And somebody else in this game is Chris Olave. I think, he might be expected to have at least a decent game as well. So, and one last note, Juwan Johnson's been a little banged up, and guess who's coming around the bend? Taysom Hill might be making his return. So if you're a Juwan Johnson owner and he happens to have a good week this week, I would sell him high very quickly. All right, let's go to the next one. Vegas at the Colts. Colts against fantasy QBs are 19th. They're 6th against running backs. They are 29th against receivers, 14th against tight ends. The Raiders, 20th against QBs, 5th against running backs, 30th against receivers, 5th against tight ends. So we might see a little air show in this one. But what do you think of the Colts, Ryan? Who you like and don't like?
I love them at home. I think Daniel Jones has actually been a surprise story this year, nonetheless. I could see him throwing for a couple and even potentially running for one. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor, he's a must start. If you have him, no matter what league you're in, any format, you have to start him. I am going to be fading Pittman. I know he's a little bit banged up this week. So I think Ty Warren has a big game, and my sleeper is Josh Downs. I think he could, he likes to catch the long ball. I could find him, finding the end zone on Sunday. And I think Indy handles Vegas quite easily this weekend.
So I'm already noticing a pattern to Ryan. He likes the big play guys, Rashid Shaheed, which, by the way, Rashid Shaheed is due. So is Josh Downs. These guys are all due. So these are actually really good takes. But I like that you're liking the big play guys. Fred, what do you think of the Raiders?
I obviously we got to start Ashton Genty. He had a monster game last week. He was everything. He ran the ball 21 times. He caught the ball for 2 touchdowns. He ran the ball for 1 touchdown, 130. He was the offense. Now, Geno Smith was not impressive with 170 yards, 3 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, which was to Genty. Brock Bowers is kind of scaring me now. I thought he was going to have an amazing season, and it's not turning out to be like that. I don't know what the problem is, but I guess they'll figure it out soon enough. And Jacoby Myers, only start if you must. The only solid start is Genty.
I don't remember a time where Geno Smith, I'm just trying to think as you were saying that, when did I ever see Geno Smith target a tight end? I don't think I can really recall one. So maybe that might be some of the issue. Geno maybe looking more for the receivers, I guess. I'm not really sure. You got one of the biggest weapons there is. A little banged up, as Brian mentioned as well. So maybe that has something to do with it also. But yeah, I agree. I don't know what's going on. And Geno Smith is one of those guys. It's up, it's down, it's left, it's right. So last week was bad. This week could be good. I have a weird feeling that him and Dr. Jones might be throwing the pill around a little bit in this matchup. So we shall see. All right, let's get to America's team, the Miami Dolphins, going to Carolina to face the Panthers. Oh, man. Ugh. Miami against QBs, 31st, 26th against running backs, 8th against receivers in a weird anomaly, and 30th against tight ends. Carolina, 4th against QBs, 21st against running backs. They're 2nd against receivers and 27th against tight ends. All right, Fred, here we go. Who you like on America's team, the Miami Dolphins?
Well, it's funny that we were talking about the receivers nothing but last week when you were saying, damn it, I just hope that that Jaylen Waddles doesn't keep waddling his ass to the sideline. Well, this is his chance to be the number one receiver on the team, show what he's about. And it could be for the possibly next couple of years. So I'm definitely starting Waddle all day. He is the number one. Achane, of course, you start him. He rushes the ball quite a bit. So my 2 starts, Achane, Waddle, 100%. Waller was a little sneaky play last week. I don't know if he's going to actually do that again. He had to show me it twice, not once. So I'm starting Waddle. I'm starting Achane. I'm not starting Waller yet.
So we have a funny question. I apologize. John Cologne wants to know, just curious, what internet provider does Manny use? It must be
It's Spectrum.
Oh, it must be Spectrum. I couldn't remember. I was like, yeah, that's all Greg's Spectrum shit. That's for sure. All right, let's go, Ryan. What do you think of them Panthers? Who you like and don't like on the Panther side?
I think obviously with Hubbard out, I think Rico Dowdle's the guy, man. I think he's gonna get in. I honestly could see Rico scoring 2 times, and I know that sounds a little crazy, but 26th ranked defense on the Dolphins. I think that he's gonna get a lot of touches. There's not a ton of weapons on the outside. I think Ted McMillan though catches his first touchdown in his rookie campaign. He's been over the century mark, I think, once this year, close to twice. I think it's 1 time, though. So I could see him having a big game, getting in the end zone. But I think Rico is going to be the play of the day if you have him available in your league, and especially if you have Hubbard. And I hope if you do, you grab Rico and put him in for this week. So
Ryan already has him up 21-0 already. He's got 3 fucking touchdowns for the Panthers. Man, why did Ledoux bring this guy on? No, but one other person to watch out for in this game from Carolina is Tommy Tremble. Tavian Sanders is out. He is basically their only tight end. And Miami, they just love a good tight end. That's for sure. So they'll be giving it up for Tommy Tremble. I think he might sneak in one against the Dolphins, so we shall see. All right, let's move on. The Broncos at the Eagles. We're actually talking about some good teams now. Denver Broncos, number 1 against QBs, 10th against running backs, 7th against receivers, 3rd against tight ends. Ooh-wee. Eagles, 14th against QBs, 22nd against running backs. That's a surprise. 14th against receivers, and 6th against tight ends. So I said this is a good game. Maybe not so good for fantasy, but what do you think, Ryan? Who you like and don't like on the Philadelphia Eagles?
yeah, it's tough. The Broncos are a tough defense, obviously, front 7, secondary, and everything. But if you have Jalen Hurts, how do you not start him? You have to start him. It's a must start. Saquon, must start. I am going to say this. I think A.J. Brown does bounce back. For anybody that has A.J. Brown is worried about him. I think he had 2 catches for 7 yards last week. I guarantee he doesn't have that this week. So I think he gets back on track. I know Surtain is one of the best corners in the league, but I do think A.J. Brown is going to have a big bounce back game from last week, though.
Yeah, they don't move him around a lot either. Like, you don't really see him lined up in the slot or anything like that. So you should see a lot of Surtain. Although I think that one game that he did play, they did move him a little bit. So maybe that'll be.
I think they got to try to start a little bit to do something different with him, just to try to get him the ball more. So I think they have to with everything going on there. So if they want to continue to do what they do.
Yeah, not only do they have to, but when he got the ball, God, he looked like, he's playing against little leaguers. I mean, just pushing people down. He's a superstar. They got to get him the ball. Slim Reaper may make a play here as well. So we'll see. But again, this is going to be tough. But you got to play your studs nonetheless. Fred, what do you think on the Broncos side? Anyone you like or don't like?
I'm gonna go with 3 players. You got to start Bo Nix. Even though they played Cincinnati, had a good game, over 320 yards, 2 TDs. Got to start J.K. Dobbins. This guy goes from good, but he's actually been playing good this year. Good start. 16 carries last week, over 100 yards. And of course, your number 1 receiver, Cortland Sutton. He had 80 yards, a touchdown. So those are the 3 that I'm starting because just by what your numbers said, the Eagles are mediocre in most of those, 14th here, 10th there. So, yeah, J.K. Dobbins, Cortland Sutton, and Bo Nix.
Whatever, bro. I don't want to hear nothing. You're at a festival. Go and fucking enjoy it and get off the damn YouTube. All right, let's go to the next one. Houston at the Ravens. We got number 2 against QBs are the Houston Texans, 13th against running backs, 12th against receivers, and 7th against tight ends. Ooh, this Ravens D. Oh, I thought Miami was bad. 30th against QBs, dead last against running backs, 28th against receivers, 23rd against tight ends. So, Fred, who you like on this Texan side?
Nobody. The Texans have not been playing good football. I mean, you know what? I'm lying. I'm actually starting their defense this week. So I'm going with their defense. Lamar Jackson's out. Let's see how Cooper Rush does. And hopefully they just stack the box. I don't know what to pick.
Ryan's got his fan club in saying Ryan's AI for sure.
Yeah. I should have never invited my buddies to watch the show, huh? Jesus. Oh my God.
We agree. We love it. That's great. All right, shut them up and talk about the Ravens. What do you think, guys? You like and don't like?
Definitely don't like Cooper Rush, man. But it is what it is, right? Lamar's out. So I think obviously you're gonna have to you got to start Derrick Henry, man. They got to get him going. They have with Lamar out. They got to get him going. He has to at least see 20 touches. He gets better as the game goes on. He gets better the more touches he gets. That goes back to his rookie season for crying out loud. But and I think obviously if they move the ball and they do pass the ball, I think you're going to see Zay Flowers be the one that gets the touches. I think Stingley's probably going to be on Bateman and Hopkins. So I think you're going to see Zay be in that slot, get a little more, those quicker passes, quicker targets across the middle for him to get his touches as well. So, but I think big day for Henry. I think he has to get back on track.
Yeah, shameless plug. I do a show with ex-Titan and Buck tight end Ben Troop on Wednesday nights. And I remember we talked about this last Wednesday this week, but I remember last year talking about this Raven team, how they kind of struggled in the beginning, and we kept saying the same thing, give Derrick Henry the football, and I feel like they've gone right back to the same thing in the beginning of the season last year. Give that man the ball 50 times a game. I know you got Lamar Jackson. He's that shiny Lamborghini. I get it, but give your boy the ball, and your defense sucks. What's the best way to help your defense is keep them the fuck off the field, and that's by running the football.
I heard it this morning on another show that I guess their offensive coordinator, wasn't it Monk or whatever? They have not ran Derrick Henry more than 19 times this whole season.
That's nuts.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Insane.
By the way, Fred didn't bring a lot, but I will say Woody Marks is a nice play against this last ranked running back against the running backs Ravens. They've been real slack. I know it's hard to believe in the Texans, man, but God, this.
You know why? Because I can't. The Ravens got to play hard. Imagine them falling to 1-4.
I know. I know.
Are the Texans favored? Who's favored? The Texans, right?
Texans are favored, yeah.
At Baltimore. That's crazy.
Baltimore. God, I can't even believe it. All right, let's move on from that one. Let's go to the big game of the day. The Titans at the Cardinals. Woo-wee. Titans against fantasy QBs are 10th, 29th against running backs, 27th against receivers, 9th against tight ends. Cardinals, 13th against QBs, 25th against running backs, 18th against receivers, and 22nd against tight ends. Ryan, what say you on those Arizona Cardinals?
Yeah, I mean, anybody on the Cardinals, that's how bad I feel that the Titans are, to be honest. I think Kyler Murray's he's averaging like 15, 16 a game. He's going to go north of that. I personally had James Conner. I had Trey Benson. They're both gone for the season. So DiMarcardo or Michael Carter. I think Michael Carter is the going to be that guy that's going to actually fill in for that the early downs and the goal lines. So if you have to plug him in or one of them in, I think Carter's the guy. And then I do think Marvin Harrison Jr. does find the end zone this weekend and gets back a little bit more on track. I know him and Collar haven't been seen eye to eye and actually connected like everybody thought originally since even last year, but I think they definitely found the end zone on Sunday against probably the worst team in the league. So I don't know what that says anything, but
I think they hit it a few times, to be honest with you. But Fred, who do you like on the Titans?
Yo, you can't. This is for real. You cannot play anybody on the Titans. The quarterback this week said they're ass. He said, let me keep it 100. We are ass. So just by him saying that, you cannot start anybody on the Titans, including their defense.
I like it. But our boy Justin, he's in love with Io Manor, and he wanted to make sure. He said, start Io Manor. I think Tony Pollard may have a decent game in this matchup.
That's wishful thinking, my man.
I know. I'm just looking at numbers. What do you want? By the way, Anwar says, can't see him, can't believe him. Opposite whatever he says, 100%. Ryan's our John Cena, bro. He's never seen 17. Like, that's it, baby. All right.
Am I still not on camera? Am I on camera right now or no?
No, you haven't been on camera since like a while ago. It's all good though. We're gonna play Meg's We're gonna play Meg's segment. While we do that, you can try to pop out and pop back in.
All right, I'll do that real quick.
Speaking of Meg, she is here tonight. You know, she works security at a nightclub. Gotta love that. I know, it's crazy. Well, she's here tonight to let us know which NFL players are going to make it or not make it inside. I can't even talk. It's those gummies hitting. She's going to talk about the players that aren't going to make it into the MEG zone this week. Let's check it out.
Yeah! Yeah, baby, I'm in some MEG zone today.
Security.
Hi guys, welcome back to the MEG Zone, my exclusive club where only the best of the fantasy football players make it through the door. Everyone else gets stopped in line. So let's start off with Nick Chubb,
Security.
Texans, a player that we all had high hopes for at the start of this season and unfortunately is just not getting those points consistently. Instead, Woody Marks seems to be getting targeted more and therefore making more points. So Nick Chubb, unfortunately this week, you're not making it into the MEG Zone. Next up, we have Calvin Ridley,
Security.
Tennessee Titans. In 3 out of the 4 games that he has played so far, he has made less than 30 yards. That means his points are even more tragic than his team's totals. Instead, we have got Alik Ayomana over there who seems to be putting up points left and right for the Titans. I still would be wary of anything to do with Calvin Ridley going forward. The team is in disarray and they are not making those yards or not getting those points, so I would avoid at all costs. Finally, we have Cooper Kupp.
Security.
An inconsistent player so far this season. We see that there are too many targets there that mean the points are spread between them, and Cooper Kupp just cannot be relied upon to be putting up those big numbers that we all love to see on our fantasy scores each week. For more hints, tips, tricks and advice on all things NFL, all things fantasy, make sure you drop me a follow across all the socials at @ballers_meg, and I will see you next week for more MEG Zone.
Security.
Indeed. Look at Ryan's back, and look, Troy says, wow, that dude Ryan M really knows his stuff. All right, gotta like that. All right, Fred, we got a big
RT.
Look, Omar's a big I can't ever say his name. Io Manor. I said it right the last time. All right, Smitty is in, by the way, Fred. He's got a question here for you. 2 QB Super League, PPR League. Turpin has been average 16 points, more than his projection points a game. My league gives points for all return yards. All my receivers are out except Nico. I need a receiver, so should I drop Turpin to get a wide receiver off the waiver or Rashad White? I would go Rashad White. I mean, I think that's an easy play, especially PPR. I think you'll I don't even need to ask Fred that one. That's
we're about to talk about the Bucks right now anyway. So
yeah, indeed. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a second. What do you think, Smitty? And would you get Luke McCaffrey or Jalen Tolbert, one of those guys? I mean, you know what? I didn't even need to answer that. I would just go Rashad White, bro. I would chill on Luke. Luke McCaffrey did get in the end zone. You know, we do have questions with Debo out, maybe dealing with injury. who the hell knows what's going on with McLaurin. So, I mean, he might not be a bad pickup for your squad, especially if your receivers are out. But for this week, go with Rachaad White, bro. I don't even need to ask that shit. And Troy said, what's up, Ryan Manning? More tips. He wants more tips from Ryan Manning. I love it. All right, let's go to the Elise. It looks like a good game. Tampa is going to Seattle. Tampa against QBs are 25th, 15th against running backs, 6th against receivers, 16th against tight ends. Seahawks, 7th against QBs, 20th against running backs, 3rd against receivers. They're dead last against tight ends. So, Ryan, what do you think? Guys you like and don't like on the Seahawks?
Yeah, I think Kenneth Walker obviously is a must start there. He's been doing obviously bounced back from last year. I think they're going to run the ball heavy there to start, get the Bucs defense a little bit tired. I think Jackson Smith is going to be, he's just a stud in PPR in any league, any format. He's a must start. I do have Cooper Kupp though as a sleeper. I think I know he's been super quiet this year. I think he's got a little left in the tank, and I could definitely see him having a big game, 5 or 6 catches, and maybe getting a touchdown this weekend. So that's kind of my sleeper for that game, for the Seattle team.
I like it. Torrey Horton's been playing well as well, so he might be somebody else to look at in that game. And by the way, I noticed tendencies when you're doing these podcasts and stuff with people. Meg hates Cooper Kupp. I mean, she had him in the first week not the med zone, and the third. I mean, she's had him at least 3 times now, not hitting the med zone.
Man, Meg, what Cooper do to you, Meg?
Come on now.
She hates him. All right, what do you think, Fred, on the side? What do you think, guys you like and don't like?
First and foremost, you got to start Baker Mayfield. He just throws the ball around. Now, without Bucky Irving, you got to start Rachaad White. I mean, he's going to have all the carries, and he's even with Bucky in the game, he still had 4 receptions. So definitely pick up Rachaad White, take Rachaad White, start Rachaad White. He's good. Now, you don't have Mike Evans, so you want to start Ibuka and possibly Chris Godwin. Now that he got his legs under him, he should be a good pickup. So Baker Mayfield, Rachaad White, Ibuka, Chris Godwin.
By the way, Smitty, Justin likes Tolbert in those options to pick up. So, I'm a little concerned with Baker being a little banged up. And this Seahawks D is no joke. So I'm not sure the Bucs are going to be having a great game this particular week, but we'll see. I mean,
I actually think the Bucs lose this game, to be honest.
Yeah, and not for nothing though, man. I don't know how you don't love Baker Mayfield, bro. This guy is like, he's Mac Jones on steroids, basically. Yeah. So you gotta love Baker Mayfield, man. All right, let's go to this should be an epic matchup. The Lions against the Bengals. Lions against fantasy QBs are 16th, 8th against running backs, 13th against receivers, 21st against tight ends. Bengals, 24th against QBs, 31st against running backs, 25th against receivers, 28th against tight ends. Lots of double digits. But Fred, let's talk about Detroit, guys you like and don't like.
Yeah, this on paper should have been a good game with Burrow there. But let's go with the Lions. You got to start Jared Goff. No matter what, he's a good quarterback. Top 15, definitely start him. Jahmyr Gibbs, stud. Always start him. Amon St. Brown, stud. Start him. Now, Laporta, I don't know what's been going on with Laporta. He hasn't been that tight end that we used to see, just a year or two ago, about 2 years ago. He was a stud. Maybe he gets back into it again. But, Gibbs, St. Brown, Goff, definitely start. Laporta, most likely.
Yeah, I'm smash starting Laporta this week. The Bengals are notoriously bad against tight ends, so you would think this is the week. If there is a week,
hopefully
this is the week for him. John Cologne wants to say Ryan must have Comcast. He's out again. Look at this guy. All good, man. It's all good. He's a rookie, bro. Stop listening to Luke Smitty says Luke McCaffrey gets points for return yards in the league, though. So, not for nothing, like I said, he might be okay. We'll see.
Justin is dumb.
Said Ryan hit up Greg about getting to the spectrum in your life. Rush about to hit. Good show, boys. See you Sunday. Thank you, Justin, for joining us. We appreciate it. Get back to work, bro. Commanders at the I was about to say the Clippers. Got LAC up here. Commanders at the Chargers. Commanders against fantasy QBs 26, 12th against running backs.
Did we talk about the Bengals?
Did we? Oh, shit. No, sorry. Ryan.
I don't know. I get it, man. I'm off camera.
That was the dummy.
Listen, there's not much to talk about the Bengals anyways. Let's call it what it is.
I think that was more it. Not that you weren't there. But talk about the Bengals. Guys you like and don't like. My bad.
Oh no, I wish you stayed skipping me on that one. I mean, with Burrow out and and Browning in there, it's just been obviously terrible to watch. Anybody that has Bengals, you have Chase Brown, Jamar, or T Higgins. I feel bad for you. I get a couple of them in a couple of my leagues, but if I have to pick somebody out of those three, I think Chase Brown's the guy. I think they have to run the ball, establish that. I think he's had 10 carries each of the last two games. You got to get him the ball. He's got to touch the ball 15 to 20 times a game with obviously the rushing and getting those dump passes to him to have any chance. I mean, if you have Jamar Chase, how do you not start him? Obviously, you have to. You just hope that they give him a little more time to get the ball to these guys. But yeah, out of all those three, I do like Chase Brown the most, though.
Yeah, I can see why they've only given him 10 carries though, because what ends up happening is they're down by 50 fucking points by half, so they just have to throw the football just to at least try to make an effort. But yeah, I feel you. So yeah, I actually like both receivers. I like T Higgins and Chase because of that reason this week. I could see them in a really big ditch very early, and they're just going to have to keep throwing the football. So I think those receivers will be all right this week. All right, let's go. Commanders at Chargers. Commanders 26th against QBs, 12th against running backs, 24th against receivers, 26th against tight ends. The Chargers 15th against QBs, 4th against running backs, 4th against receivers, and they're 10th against tight ends, which is kind of crazy because last week they went to New York and didn't look like nothing at all. What do you think, my friend Ryan? Give me some guys you like and don't like for the Chargers.
Yeah, this offense is obviously pretty dynamic. I mean, Herbert's having a great year. I think if you have him, you got to start him. Amari Hampton has really come on. Poor Najee Harris going down, obviously has opened up the gates for Hampton to be that guy now. So if you have him, you must start him. And then the receiving core is kind of wild. You have obviously Quentin Johnston's. Probably should have drafted him in the first round over CeeDee Lamb based off of his numbers this year. All right, Keenan Allen, top 10 receiver, but obviously all those guys are good, but if you do have Ladd, don't sleep on Ladd. I think Ladd, you could see having a game. He's been super quiet this year, and I think that against his Commanders team, I think you can see Ladd go get 5 or 6 catches and start getting really implemented back into the offense.
I like it. By the way, Troy Delaney says T Higgins going to have a huge week. Surprise on Ryan's pick there. Troy must have T Higgins on his team. Maybe he must be in that same lane. Smitty said week 3, McCaffrey was projected for 5.6 points and scored 33. Week 4 projected 9 and scored 37. That's big, bro. Like I said, that whole you getting points off return yards does make a big difference. So, like I said, McCaffrey, I brought him up last week as a decent play because of the injuries. Now you got your boy back, Jaden Daniels. So McCaffrey might be the guy, but I still would say go Rashad White, bro. I still think he's just going to be due for a big day. All righty, let's talk about those Commanders, Fred. Guys you like and don't like.
I believe Jaden Daniels back this week, if I read that correctly. So I mean, you got to start once he comes back in. You got to start him no matter what. You probably picked him first or second round anyway. Deebo Samuel played well without him, so you want to start with him as well. 72 yards last week and a TD. Now they're kind of splitting on the running back, so that's why my little concern is. I think they split exactly last week, 7-7 between Rodriguez and Krosky Merritt. So I'm not even sure if Krosky Merritt's playing, but I won't start any running backs right now. I'm going with Jaden Daniels, Deebo Samuel.
And I think he's still set to play this week. The Smitty says he's got Daniels as his QB. LOS, like a nice little stack there with McCaffrey. So yeah, bro. I don't know. I think you're talking yourself into this, Smitty. I think you might as well listen. I always tell people when they ask fantasy advice, go with your gut. Period. Last week I have Caleb Williams and I have Bo Nix, and I sat there and kept telling myself, "You got to go Bo Nix, bro. You got to go to Bo Nix." But then I looked at every ranking there was. They all had Caleb Williams like top 6, top 5. And I'm like, am I just being stupid? And you know what? I'm going to go with Caleb Williams. And guess what? I lost my goddamn game because I listened to other people. Go with your gut, my friend. If that's who you feeling, go with it. All right, let's go with the Sunday night delight. The Patriots at the Bills. Patriots against fantasy QBs are 17th, 16th against running backs, 21st against receivers, and 24th against tight ends. The Bills, 22nd against QBs, 18th against running backs, 9th against receivers, 2nd against tight ends. Mr. Hunter Henry, we'll see. What do you think, Ryan? You got to talk about your Buffalo Bills. What do you think?
Obviously, James. I mean, you got to start Allen, man. There's no question about it. James Cook, you got to start him. He's a must start. Shakir, I think, is really connecting, obviously, with Allen in that passing attack. So if you have him in a flex option, I think he's a must start. I think you fade Kincaid this week. He's he's getting those touchdowns, but he relies heavily on those touchdowns, and I just don't. I'll play against the odds here, and I don't think he scores against that pass defense this week. But I do like Keon Coleman. I think Keon Coleman, he's been kind of quiet since week 1 when he went over 100 yards and had a touchdown. I can see him, unfortunately, scoring a touchdown against my Pats defense this Sunday night. So I think he's kind of that, I wouldn't say sleeper, but I guess kind of a sleeper over the past couple of weeks. I'd pick Coleman.
These two had some 2 close games last year, so I know a lot of people are thinking Buffalo is just going to run the Patriots over, but I disagree. I think it's going to be a good game. What do you think, Fred? Who do you? Of course you do. Who do you like or don't like on the Patriots, Fred?
I mean, I don't like anybody running the football on the Patriots. I just haven't been impressed by any of their running backs. They do a lot of sharing of the ball. So if you don't have to start them, please don't. I would start Drake May. He does have a good rapport with Stephon Diggs. Last week he did hit the century mark, Diggs, and he actually played a pretty good game. May, I know it was against the Carolina Panthers, but he had 14 of 17 for 203 and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That was an efficient game. So I would go with May and Diggs and nobody on the rushing side and Hunter Henry. He might have a good game this week. I just said Bills do not stop the tight ends really well, and he has been playing good lately. So Henry's a must start as well.
I think I like Henderson in this game. I feel like this is that. I think it's that game where, it's the bright lights are on. He's the flashy rookie. And Buffalo notoriously bad against the run, even though they're 18th. But I just think I saw Devon Achane chew them up. So that's just my little thing. I like Henderson.
I got you.
Royston Gibbs says, I have Daniels, but I'll start Hurts. Bro, 2 horrible fucking matchups. 2 great QBs with 2 horrible matchups this week. So, but yeah, I think Hurts, you know what? He's going to get a tush push in the end zone at least one time. So you got to roll him. All right, let's finish it off with the Monday Nighter, the Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Chiefs against fantasy QBs are 8th. They're 23rd against running backs, 11th versus receivers, 4th against tight ends. Jags, 12th against QBs, 11th versus running backs, 24th against receivers, and 12th against tight ends. So, Fred, your favorite team, what do you think? Do you like? Give me some guys you like and don't like.
Come on. You got to start them, man. Kelsey, got to start. Mahomes, you got to start. Worthy, you got to start. I don't know about Pacheco, but listen, they're starting to click again. You gotta take the stars. The stars are the stars, and it's Jacksonville. Jacksonville they're decent, but Mahomes, Kelsey, Worthy.
It's funny because Royston brought this up just now, and that was the one thing I think might be actually the difference in this game is the Jags defense. They're really good. I shouldn't say really good, but they're a decent defense this year. But he wants to know, should he start them, or is it who? DFS start, yes or no? Okay. Do you have someone else, I guess, in mind? Because if you have someone else, we could maybe debate that. I don't know if I love putting Jacksonville's defense against now a hot Chiefs team, or they had one good game. So, again, against the Ravens, though, which everyone can get off on them. So I don't know. I would maybe look for some different options. I wouldn't be in love with this start, but I don't think it's going to be bad, real bad for them. But that's just my personal opinion. What do you think, though, Ryan? Talk about the Jags, guys you like and don't like.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Chiefs defense is pretty underrated. They got a pretty good pass rush. So I would like, if you have no other options, you could start Trevor Lawrence, but I would fade him. I like ETN. ETN's a must start. I slept on him in all my leagues this year, and I'm kicking myself for that. But I think the way he's playing right now, he's a must start. I do think it's BTJ's breakout party. I think Brian Thomas Jr. does get going this week. He's been super, super quiet this entire season so far. So I could see him getting some targets and actually, maybe even getting over the century mark this week against that Chiefs defense. And I also like Brenton Strange too for a tight end. He's been for a PPR especially, he's been getting 4, 5, 6 catches, pretty much weekly now. He's seems to be that number 2 guy there for Trevor Lawrence. So I do like those guys. But ETN must start. Brian Thomas Jr. I think is a must start as well this week.
I guess the other D was the Rams. I hope you didn't start him last night, bro. Because it would have looked like a good start though.
A great start on paper. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Everybody's
an
out.
excellent matchup according to all the experts. But yeah, so if you don't have anyone else, bro, you got it's a wing and a prayer, to be quite frank. Unless there's some other streaming defenses out there this week, Cardinals actually might not be a bad play if they're out there playing the Titans. Might be out on your waiver wire. Could be somebody to look at. There's some other ones out there. I can't really think of them on the top of my head right now. I'm just kind of rolling through here. But even, I hate to say, but even like someone like the Saints that might be out there could be a decent play. They're at home. Jackson Dart is going to be prone to make some mistakes as a rookie. So it could be somebody else you could throw in your lineup anyway. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Before we head out, though, our boy Andrew LeDuc left everyone a fall treat. He's got some sophisticated starts for you this week, so get ready and enjoy Sophistication Station.
It's time to bring some sophistication to your fantasy lineups with Mr. Mallard.
Next up, fall here on Sophistication Station. Thank you for stopping by. Again, I'm Andrew LeDuc, a.k.a. Mr. Mallard, host of the Divots and Pivots show. And let's talk about some classy starts for you for Week 5 this week. Let's start with Woody Marks, who's clearly taking over the job for Nick Chubb. Maybe not fully yet, but he's on that track right now. He's going to get there. So Woody Marks looks to be the explosive running back in that backfield. So ride that as he continues his ascension. And then let's also ride the hot-handed Quentin Johnson, who has looked like the best receiver in that wide receiver group finally. He was supposed to do that 2 years ago. Ladd McConkey's been disappointing so far with the addition of Keenan Allen, but Quentin Johnson has been true and steady, and he's going to continue to do that. So play him this week as well. And then let's take a long shot here. Let's give some class to Darius Slayton. That Giants offense, they need somebody. Wan'Dale Robinson and then Darius Slayton. Wan'Dale's going to be your PPR guy, but Darius Slayton's going to be your over-the-top big play pop. And that could happen this week. The matchup looks good for that. So Darius Slayton is another classy start that you can roll with. So just to remind you, Woody Marks, Darius Slayton, Quentin Johnson, they're your classy starts this week. And you can feel safe doing that. And as always, friends, stay classy.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Now go win your fantasy matchup with class.
Win it with class, indeed. And by the way, the AI does not care what your ethnicity is. Woody Marks is not that white. They pretty much AI Sammy Sosa'd him out. So just so you know. All right. Well, we appreciate you, Ryan. It was great having you tonight. I hope you come back and prove that fucking internet at least. But we appreciate you coming on tonight and breaking it down for us tonight. Don't forget to wake up with us Sunday morning at 8 a.m. bright and early. You're going to be up anyway. We got 9 a.m. football going on. So we got Fantasy Jesus. We got a Sunday morning cartoon. We got betting advice. We got ultimate DFS lineups. And, of course, our picks for the Sunday matchup, as well as your fantasy questions. So just make sure you tune in and throw us your questions on Sunday morning. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you. Good luck. And we'll see you on Sunday. We're out.